So as usual, these thugs seem to be hanging out in their little clubhouse here. Not too many other windows even open, or lights even on. We got a couple on this floor, but it's fairly certain from the echo. The sound's coming from the clubhouse there with the window open. There's no reason for it to be open. It's like 50 degrees here. So again, got people directly across. I think we'd be able to hear it. Again, they just put in a camera up at the top here. I guess it can't be seen up against the night sky or anything like that. There it is. Way on the left it'll be now. On the bottom, you can see another apartment. I guess theoretically the sound could be coming from there. As Murphy's Law generally dictates, as soon as you start recording, the noise cuts down, at least somewhat. It's like an ESP kind of a thing. It's 2.5 gallons of urine there because we're so terrified of these horrifying thugs. I was nearly murdered 19.5 weeks ago by 2 big black thugs and a black pitbull in the lobby here. But the people connected with us building the VA, the THC, Tenderloin Housing Clinic, Dianne Feinstein, Jane Kim, the local supervisor here, and the SFPD and the district attorney and the detectives, they're all so racist that they think that this is fine, that this should go on. The World Series just ended. The Astros won. Whoops. Here, 2-1. I don't know if you're getting that. There it is. I guess you're going to cover some more of this. Houston won series. There it is. 5-1 the final. Alright, so mark the date and time. And I guess I have the technical date and time here. 21/12, believe it or not. Rush album. Geddy Lee and the other members of the band, Neil Peart, and I don't remember the third guy's name. But these guys were loud enough for me to turn on the recorder to begin with. And this is the nature of noise. People, just a loud bang. Is that annoying to you? A loud bang? A dog was barking before, probably their pit bull. That nearly mauled me 21 weeks ago, and by some miracle I was able to keep them off. But God knows what's going to happen the next time. Like that. 20 weeks later, double the size or something. Seems like some locker room atmosphere. Yeah. And earlier I called to some guy, could you please keep the sound down? But, now that the game's over, they might not be anchored down to it. And they might just come up looking, to kill somebody. Who would dare say that? And let's not kid ourselves. We can tell black voices from non-black voices, right? And they'll be able to tell, quote unquote, I'm not one of them. And I can't really call the cops until 10 p.m. on their clubhouse-like activities, 9:14 p.m. And you could say, this is a special day. It's the end of the World Series. These guys are usually much more basketball and football fans. Not for anything they actually thought out, I'm sure. It's just, they just live their lives with tradition without thinking like so many people. But, it happens all the time. It's not just this. You can go back and check all these recordings, and you can be sure you don't have them all, and you can be sure I'm not even able to record all the problems that these people create constantly. And again, hopefully now that they have a camera in the airwell, hopefully it's recording sound, because it's not going to be able to see anything. It's not like they stick their heads out of the window and scream into the airwell. But with their window open especially, you can hear them all too well, and kind of make out parts of their conversation word for word. And again, it's aggravating. This is why they specify quiet enjoyment of the property in virtually every lease in America that was ever created. And of course, the evil people, Dianne Feinstein and all the others I mentioned before, corrupt, racist Mayor Ed Lee, and I'm sure his staff, Gavin Newsom used to be the mayor, he's another one. And, they all pretend, this is all fine for you. And if they want to show up here, they bring security. They bring it with them. They'll bring George Shultz lives in the area. He comes down to this Tenderloin Croc Center a couple of blocks from here, about a block away from the Tenderloin precinct. And he brings Secret Service with him. He's a block away from a police precinct. And that's how what kind of security they think they have here. And they know they're lying to you as they're lying to you. And your security doesn't mean squat to them. Their security means squat to them. They're going to make sure they got serious security. Again, a half a block away, the Hilton has a real police officer, 24/7, 365, with a real gun and a real radio by which he can call lots of other police officers right nearby, and they're gonna come, in response to a call. But here, if I call the police, a lot of times they show up 12 hours later, 13 hours later. If they feel like it. A lot of times they don't show up at all. And what are we going to do about it? That's the question. The corruption's horrifyingly thick and long. I just took down the numbers for. There was supposed to be a new SFPD accountability number, but it's the old one. They talked about it on the news. And that's IAB, Internal Affairs Bureau, and that's IAB for the sheriffs because they're just as corrupt, if not more. So I'll see what I can get done. But the whole system, backs its own play, and they got their own backs, and they don't have yours. And, they just want to keep their job and their pension. They don't care what the cost is. They don't care if it's your life. They don't care if right and wrong don't exist in America anymore. Right and wrong to them is whatever keeps my job. That's all they care about. Those are the kind of degenerates that we have, working for the city, county, state, and federal government at this location at this time.